All right, what's going on, guys? It's Vince, and we are back again. It's been a while since we got a blog post video going, but we are doing a quick overview of the Stackable Clues blog post. It is July 2nd. Stackable Clues are now live in the game. I think you can get up to a maximum of 5, depending on your requirements that you've gotten. But anyway, Stackable Clues, they're finally here. Stackable Clue Scrolls. Yeah, thank you. This long-awaited update gives all you clue-chasing adventurers more flexibility as you dig, scan, sprint, and puzzle your way across to Gilnor. Let's walk through what's new. Scroll box. Anyone who's completed the quest X marks the spot will no longer receive traditional clue scroll drops. Instead, you'll get shiny new scroll boxes, functionally the same as clue scrolls, but with one game-changing twist. They stack. Yeah, thank you. No more choosing between slaying and finishing your hard clue. No more accidentally missing out on that elite from Tob because some sneaky little blighter was hiding out back in the chaotic abyss of your bank. With scroll boxes, you can collect now and clue later as long as you haven't hit your stack limit. Each box holds a scroll of the same tier and can only be opened if you don't already have an active clue of that tier sitting in your inventory or bank. If you do, the box won't open. So essentially, all this means is similar to leagues. If you guys have played leagues, you basically get these little scroll boxes, as you can see in the photo. They stack right up here, and then you open them and you get the corresponding clue scroll. So pretty cool. Nothing crazy in terms of like mechanically speaking, but it's gonna be nice, especially for some of the bossing content or raids to be able to, or even like I guess a Slayer task to be able to stack your clues and then go do them later and not have to de-gear, go get another clue, and then and do the clue and then re-gear. Like I feel like you just gear all the time. So we also don't have like bank presets where you can just hit load and it'll just load your gear up. So to have to constantly like empty your gear, re-gear is a pain in the ass. So especially for something like easy clues where you could pickpocket like a double one and grab like 4 or 5 pretty quickly and then go do 4 or 5 before you actually have to go back and pickpocket again, it's going to be really, really nice. So if you haven't completed X marks the spot, you'll still receive regular non-stackable clue scrolls, so that classic old school treasure hunting experience remains alive and well for new or low level players. This includes geodes from mining, nests from woodcutting, bottles from fishing, etc. Those of you who have completed the quest will get shiny new scroll boxes from wherever you usually get your clue scrolls. I actually really like this as well. I know as someone that like works from home, um, and does either fishing or woodcutting. I don't really do that much mining, to be honest. But whether you're like star mining, chopping redwoods, fishing like anglerfish, corombons, maybe even like shark, um, to get these like stackable clue scroll boxes is gonna be really, really cool. We're gonna have more clue scrolls to do when you can actually play the game. Honestly, even if you're AFKing on your phone, it could be really, really good to stack these up and be able to do a couple clues when you get home or um, whenever you actually have time to play. So next we have stack limits and quote a sneaking suspicion unquote. Scroll boxes are stackable, but there are still limits. Yeah. I actually think they did a pretty good job with the limits. I could have seen them doubling it to like 10 instead of 5, but each clue tier has a cap on how many boxes or scrolls you can hold at once. This cap starts at 2 per tier by default after X marks the spot. That's pretty cool. And then can be further increased to a maximum of 5 by consuming new items called scroll cases. So this actually gets a little confusing, but I'll kind of clarify, and it's honestly really simple, but this is worded poorly in my opinion. Scroll boxes and clue scrolls share this cap. For example, if you've got 2 easy scrolls in your bank and you roll a drop for a third, you'll get the familiar message. You have a sneaking suspicion that you would have received a scroll box. If you try to pick up a stack of scroll boxes from the floor while at your current limit, you'll be met with the following message. Some of your scroll boxes were destroyed as you have too many of that tier. So don't try to pick them up, essentially. However, it's still possible to receive multiple scroll boxes at once so long as they're from different tiers. For example, getting both an easy and medium scroll box while fishing. Okay. Pretty nice. Additionally, if you're worried about wasting impling jars, fear not. If you're at your clue cap for a tier and you open a jar, you'll now get a cap warning to help avoid wasting jars. jar responsibly. And it looks like the message says, you're carrying a clue that this impling could have given. And you give the option to open it. You can't get another clue of that type, or to cancel, which is quite nice. Scroll case upgrades. Want to raise your stack limit and hoard some clues like a pro clue chaser? One way of accomplishing that is to earn yourself some scroll cases. There are two main types of scroll cases. Minor scroll cases, earned after completing a set number of clues for a tier, or major scroll cases, awarded at higher completion milestones. So that's, I mean, is that not basically the same thing? Like, it's just reworded. Like, you either earn them after completing a set number of clues, or you are awarded them at higher completion milestones. So that's it's the same thing, but whatever. Basically, you get minor or major depending on if it's a lower amount or the higher amount, like milestone. It's milestones or set numbers of clue for each tier either way. So, and here you see in the reward screen, when they open the clue, they got a minor beginner scroll case. Each one increases your scroll cap by +1 permanently for that specific tier. Here's a breakdown with the number of required clue completions. So, as you see, basically, it's for the most part, it's just tiers of 50. So, like, beginner's 50, easy and medium is 100, but then hard, elite, and master, or excuse me, hard and elite is 50, and then master's 25 for the minor scroll case. That's going to take you from whatever you're at. I mean, you start at 2 if you finish X marks the spot, but that's going to give you the +1. And then when you get the major ones at 100, 200, 250, 150, 150, and 75, that's going to give you another one. So that'll boost you up usually to 4, and then the mimic will give you the last +1 to get to 5. So scroll cases turn up in your clue scroll reward once you've completed the required number of clues for a given tier. To unlock the extra clue capacity, simply click the scroll case to and consume it. Click the scroll case to consume it. Already hit the required number of clues before this update. In that case, you'll receive the +1 capacity on login, and the scroll cases will be added to your collection log. Yeah, I think I got about 5 scroll cases when I logged in today. So, and it doesn't actually give you the case; it just automatically applies it. You get the +1 automatically, and then the scroll cases are added to like the collection log. You don't actually have to like find them in your inventory or bank and like open them. So from then on, if you receive a scroll case but misplace or bank it before using it, don't worry, it will appear in your next clue scroll reward, ready to be consumed and boost your cap. Yeah, so I mean, if you don't have one of these already, basically, it's what it's saying is you'll just get one in your next clue if you destroy it or misplace it. Okay. Besides earning scroll cases, the other way of increasing your stack limit is through beating the Mimic boss, which will earn you the Mimic scroll case, which bumps your clue capacity across all tiers by 1. If you've already beaten the Mimic boss before this update, the Mimic scroll case will retroactively be added, similar to how clue completions retroactively are rewarded. So, I've been dry on a Mimic token, so I still need to go get that just to get another +1 for my tiers. But if you guys already have that, you're gonna get an additional. You'll start with at least a +3, considering you've done X marks the spot and the Mimic, and then depending on your tiers, you'll be at 4 or 5 pretty quick. A few extra things to note: clue completions from before this update count toward your scroll case unlocks. Yeah, it's good to know, but pretty implied there. You can't cheese the scroll box cap by dropping boxes on the floor. Okay. You can still juggle clue scrolls like before by dropping them on the floor and picking up another clue scroll. And free-to-play players can earn and use beginner scroll cases, while higher tier upgrades remain members-only content. Excuse me. And then next we have Watson's board. With all these new scroll caps, boxes, and upgrades, you're probably wondering, do I keep track of all this? Well, old reliable Watson is on the case. If you've unlocked scroll boxes from X marks the spot, the treasure trails board in his house now shows your clue completion totals per tier, your current scroll box capacity per tier, and whether or not you've obtained the Mimic scroll case. So you see at the bottom it says the Mimic scroll case is obtained. You have the completions up here at the top, and then the scroll box capacities are right on the left here. And it also shows you the next scroll case milestone on the right. So pretty nice. You can go view that if you need a friendly reminder. If you haven't unlocked the scroll box system yet, the board will just show completions like before. That's a wrap on the Clue Scrolls update. Stack your scrolls, raise your caps, defeat the mimic, and show those caskets who's boss. May your puzzles be quick, your coordinates close, and your rewards finally full of that blasted third age piece. So very nice. We get a little good luck from Jagex. Got a little mobile survey if you guys are into surveys. Or if you've played mobile, you can fill out a survey for that. And then other changes, I looked into this a little bit before we started. This is really, really interesting. Some of these are really interesting in my eyes. So earlier this spring, we rebalanced Castle Wars crates because minigames where players can essentially set their own reward rates just can't be allowed to remain overly profitable. Similar adjustment was overdue for Soul Wars Spoils of War. That changes here at last. For this, we've taken a similar approach with the Castle Wars update. Spoils of War now includes some blade supplies, and the Castle Wars specific ammo has been replaced with pure essence. But the overall GP value per crate has been significantly reduced. Pet hunters, fear not, the pet rate remains unchanged, so your time to obtain the Lil Creator will be the same as it always has been. Shortly after today's game update, that's really high, I'm sorry. Shortly after today's game update, we'll be working on a hotfix to address an issue where Cerberus Keymaster teleport scrolls aren't dropping. Apologies for this one and for how long it's taken us to get it sorted. Alright, better late than never, I suppose. Other, quote, other changes include, and this is, for me, there's a couple interesting ones in here. Some good, some bad. The Steel Ring now gives a plus 24 crush defense bonus, which is up from plus 2. Okay, so wow, that's... I think that's up from, if it says up from plus 2, that's an additional 22 crush defense, which is a lot. Alongside a plus 24 stab and slash defense bonuses. The Tazar now have a 40% weakness to water spells. The Giant Rock and Black Demon and Nightmare Zone now have the same elemental weaknesses as their quest variants. When spam clicking to feed Duke, you won't use more than 2 potions. No more deleting your stack while Duke's already waking up. I know I did that once or twice when I went back there just to test out some of the new changes, and it's a pain in the ass making the potions and then just erasing them, essentially. Speaking of stacks, Duke's potions and mushrooms are now stackable. Thank fuck. That was a pain in the ass to juggle the inventory. I was doing a bunch. I need one more roll on the Vestige table to get the Magus Ring. And having to juggle my inventory constantly with these potions and mushrooms was a pain in the ass. Yeah, enjoy the inventory space, I will. It was ridiculous. Like, you would drop, like, I think I dropped, like, 8 pieces of food to start off, and then would keep, like the stacks of the mushrooms to not make the potions, because I just couldn't fit all the potions in my inventory. You can now left-click to feed Duke ground mushrooms. I don't think I'm going to be using that. Just use the potions. And... Baboon Shamans now have 40 hit points, and Cursed Baboons now have 20, which I'm assuming that's a downgrade, and they lowered it, which is good. Thralls in the Kefri room no longer count towards the Arcane Scarab's hit count, causing it to move. Okay. And then this one, some people I feel like are going to be really mad about this, but the Soulflame Horn can no longer be used to start a skilling cycle. So that's very... controversial in my eyes, this one right here. I didn't see a problem with it. I thought it was kind of cool that they started that, especially because it didn't start like a 3-tick cycle. I think it started like you could only do like a 4-tick cycle within it. So it wasn't even like better than doing like knife log or whatever. It was like a 1 less click, but it was also a tick slower. So it was like, it was from what I read about it, it was a really good intro to tick manipulation, but I guess they didn't want it there, and that wasn't intended. So I could see people going off on this, getting really, really mad. I didn't have a chance to try it, even though I have a horn, but I would have liked to. I thought that was kind of cool, but I guess if they want to get rid of it, I don't know about that one. I think you could have just kept it in. The keys from Obor and Bryophyta are now more common, dropping at a rate of 1 in 16 instead of 1 in 32. I think that's a pretty good change. 1 in 32 is pretty high. The only other issue with, well, it was with Obor, not Bryo, but I think when the fight ends, I guess for Bryo too, you need to just be able to start another kill. Like, it should have like a 3 to 5 second respawn timer. I can't stand, especially for Obor, because I went and tried these things out. Like, you have to climb up the ledge, then you have to leave the gate, and then come back into Obor, then climb back down the ledge, and then you can kill another one. When it's like, no, just add a 3 to 5 second respawn timer. Or like, if you're really worried about like the time or the kills per hour because of like going in and out, like just put like a 10 to 20 second respawn timer on there. But for me, just put a 3 to 5 second respawn timer and let me like put on auto retaliate at that point. It's such a pain in the ass that you got to go back in and out all the time. Like, when I have a key and I can open the chest and it just fucking respawns, it's so much more like streamlined and just chill. Like, it's so much more enjoyable. So the newly added cooldown for Bryo's Growthling spawns should now be more consistent. You can now one-shot Bryo's Growthlings if you have an axe or magic sectors equipped. Monster Inspect now requires 2 body runes and 2 mind runes to cast instead of 2 cosmic and 2 mind runes. So that's cool. They got rid of the cosmics requirement and added body runes, which I think need a little bit of love. So that's kind of cool. Corrected grammar in the Gauntlets lobby. Nice. Removed a repeated message from Sir Tiffy's dialogue. Also good, I guess. Fixed some typos in the Black Knight's Fortress. Fixed typos regarding Snelms. The inspect option on the Jewel Basket now shows a picture of the correct jewel. I mean, someone should have caught that before it was live, but I'm glad it was caught now, I guess. We also rolled out a hotfix last week and fixed a bug where the magic special attacks weren't working correctly against flying enemies. Okay. And then lastly, we have coming next week. We're aware that we've still got more to change from last week's update, so we've put together a list of what we're looking to change next week. They're going to implement a handful of missing elemental weaknesses, including some Nightmare Zone variants of quest NPCs. That's pretty cool. Adjust. Are people still doing Nightmare Zone in 2025? No. That's cool. Adjust the TOA loot waiting chance to interpolate between the thresholds at 300, 350, 400, 450, and 500. This means that a raid level of 310 will have a slightly reduced weighting for the Fang and Lightbearer when compared to a raid level 300 encounter. So further just tweaking and trying to polish out the TOA loot changes and the way it all works. So add a warning to the TOA Nexus deposit box to prevent players accidentally depositing their inventory or all equipped gear. I mean, you shouldn't even have those options in my eyes, but that's whatever. Take another pass over some spots where skulls appear to land too close to the obelisk during Warden's P2. Okay. Implement a quick enter and quick leave option for Obor and Bryo to speed up farming if you're not using keys to open the chests. Okay, so this is, I just mentioned this, up here. They're going to implement a quick enter and quick leave option to speed up farming if you're not using keys to open the chests. So, I mean, I guess it's still, if this is what I think it still isn't going to be good. So right now you have to like click on the gate and it says, do you really want to leave? And then you click yes. So this, you'll be able to just click it and it'll quick enter it and quick leave. That's still not going to be, I mean, for Bryo, because the door's like right there, it'll be chill. But Obor is going to be a pain in the ass because you still have to climb up the stupid fucking hill there, then click quick enter, then go back in and hit quick enter, and then climb down the fucking thing. Like, just change it where, just give it a fucking respawn. Like, I could find those being fun little bosses to like rack up KC on just for the fuck of it, just for fun. Like, maybe I'm like fucking making dinner or watching a video or like editing, like anything, or working from home, and you just have it up on the side and it just has a respawn timer. Like, having to constantly go in and out is so maybe I'm out of line on this and people want that way it doesn't get farmed, but it's such a fucking pain in the ass. Anyway, adjust the damage thresholds for the wilderness boss boosting change slightly so that irons pulling their Fair share and larger groups are still able to secure loot. I appreciate that. Adjust the nightmares mechanic for player respawns to mirror the change to Fosani's nightmare, where you'll be popped outside the instance on death. I actually learned Fosani recently, and just popping out the instance on death is really, really nice. So that's good they're doing it to nightmare as well. Recolor some text in the deranged archaeologist's collection log entry from orange to white. We're sorry for any distress this one caused. Okay, so something was up with the deranged archaeologist collection log. And then finally, correct some outdated messaging on herb boxes, which will state that they provide 10 herbs when checked, this way only providing 7. The fact that that's even caught is crazy. And then obviously we got all the mods on the bottom. So some fun changes on the other changes and coming next week. Specifically Duke, I'm a big fan of. The Obor and Bryo, they definitely need to work on, and I'm curious what the community is going to say about this Soulflame Horn thing. So, but other than that, that's going to be about it. Now, Stackable Clues are in the game. I'm curious, depending on who you guys or what team you guys were on, if you liked that it was just 5, or if you think it should have been like 10 total or 20 total, or I've heard people even say I should be able to stack up to 50 total. So I was on the consensus that like around 10 would have been fine. I didn't really want it any higher than 10, but 5 is pretty solid as well. So, and they kept the whole juggle mechanic in, where you can juggle the clues like before. So I think this keeps everybody happy. It's a pretty good change overall, pretty good addition to the game. And that's about it. I mean, it's gonna be nice moving forward to see how this works, especially with clues where you can pickpocket them, where if you have like the rogue's outfit, you're just gonna get 2. So that'll speed that up as well, which is kind of fun. So, well, anyway, that is the blog post. Pretty sure I actually went 22 minutes. It's longer than I thought. But that's gonna be the blog post. I appreciate you guys watching, and I appreciate all the new subscribers. I did a video yesterday on the downgrade, episode 1. I'll link it in the description if you haven't seen it yet. But I got a lot of love on that video, so I appreciate it all. I'm gonna definitely be working on another one soon. But leave a comment what you think on the blog post. Go check out that video, and go check out my Twitch. I'll link my Twitch in the description as always as well. I'm gonna be looking into live streaming some more, and come over and say hi, even if you don't stick around. Just say hi. We'll have a good time, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.